I just watched a TikTok asking the question of what is going to happen when the average American can no longer afford to live in this country.
When do you think they'll get it? When do you think they're going to understand that people cannot afford the lives that they want? They can't afford the children. The generations will continue to get smaller. People will continue having fewer children. When do you think that's going to happen?
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another video. The cost of living sure is going up. I mean, talk about not having a pot to piss in and a window to throw it out of. Nowadays, people can't even afford to buy the water to drink to take a piss. Just let that sink in. I mean, the cost of living is going up. The wages just aren't matching what, people need to survive, especially if you live in a state like California or Southern California in particular. I mean, just look at some of these rent prices here, guys. It's completely out of control. I've even seen it in some places in California and San Diego, etc. It doesn't really matter, where people are literally renting out rooms, private rooms, with whole families living in them. Keep this in mind, there's a whole family living in this house, and they're renting out just a room for $1,000. That's crazy. I mean, it's wild when you think about it. I just don't know what to say. It's unacceptable. But anyways, let's go ahead and look at some of these other videos and check out how other people are making it in today's economy.
I just watched a TikTok asking the question of what is going to happen when the average American can no longer afford to live in this country. And a lot of the comments were saying, oh, we'll just move to Europe or move to another country or something like that. And, pretty much saying that they'll rescind their citizenship and move somewhere else. Which, in a perfect world, that's a good idea. You know what I'm saying? If you can make US dollars while living in another country.
And definitely that is a good idea, making US dollars and living in another country or moving to another country in general. But if I'm going to be completely honest, we're all cooked. It doesn't matter where it is you live in the world right now. Everything is cooked. Inflation is sky high. Like I mentioned earlier, the cost of living is going up, but the wages just aren't keeping up. And to be honest, I blame the boomers. I'm tired of hearing people say, oh, just do your resume 3,000 times, just do this, do that, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, your big girl panties, whatever it is that these boomers are saying. We have to keep in mind that they're the ones that put us in this position, right? Boomers have the most wealth. They're still in all of these positions of power. They're not getting out. They're stuck in their ways. And I'm tired of people saying, oh, it's the Democrats, oh, it's the Republicans. No, it's not. It's both sides of the same coin, two wings of the same bird, whatever it is that you guys want to say out here. It's bad. It's rough. And our generation, especially if you're a millennial, someone like me, we're the ones that have to suffer through it. I said it once and I've said it again. Millennials got the short end of the stick. We got the short end of the stick. They started peeing on us without calling it rain, without even the courtesy of calling it rain. You guys know that saying, right? It's tough out here. It is what it is. And we just have to find a way to get through it.
Or finding a place that just doesn't really require as much bullshit as this country does to live, then yeah, I'm all for it. But I think, and I've had this theory for a while, I think it's going to take a different turn. Once it gets to the point where the average American can no longer afford to live with basic essentials, can't afford groceries, can't afford housing, things like that, I think that corporations are going to take over. I really think that there are plans in place to establish corporate housing and pretty much just living in a pod.
You know what? And he's definitely right. I've seen companies like SpaceX, they just moved their headquarters to Texas. I don't know if you guys have saw this, but they started saying that, hey, we're going to offer housing to our employees. Basically just living at your job. And to be quite honest, I can see that being a short-term solution. And I do think that there are laws being created and put in place right now for a lot of these corporations to start doing that. But I think he's probably right. That's probably what's going to end up happening. I mean, we've seen van life pop off, especially in states like Southern California or nationwide, to be quite honest. But they're even cracking down on van life, where they don't want people living in vans as an alternative solution to being homeless. I mean, they pretty much want us homeless at this point. I would damn near bet my bottom dollar that most Americans are already at that breaking point where they already can't afford the essentials, the basics. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let's check out some more videos.
When do you think they'll get it? When do you think they're going to understand that people cannot afford the lives that they want? They can't afford the children. The generations will continue to get smaller. People will continue having fewer children. When do you think that's going to happen?
You know what? And she's completely right. When are they going to get it? I mean, to be personally honest, I think they know. I think they just don't give a rat's ass. They just don't care. The current United States government, again, I don't care about Republican, Democrat, that's all an illusion. And if you're still stuck in the left-right paradigm, I don't know what to tell you. But they know. They just don't care. Like I said earlier, living in vans as an alternative source of living for the meantime until you get on your feet, they're even cracking down on that. So they don't give a damn about how much rent, how much inflation has gone up, how slow wages have grown, about the mass number of layoffs, and no one's doing anything about it. We're still fighting over dumb stuff like what is a woman. We're still fighting over all of that stuff when there are people out here losing their job, literally living paycheck to paycheck in vans, converting vans or RVs in parking lots, basically glorified homelessness, and they don't give a fuck. They're still trying to find out what the hell a woman is. I mean, United States, come on, get your act together. Get your act together. This is why a lot of people are adopting dogs and cats. People want to have families, but the United States government doesn't want you to do that. You're fighting a rigged game at this point. It's a rigged game.
Like, it's not a matter of, oh, well, it's just like a minor dip. It's a matter of the fact that people can barely make it work on their own. Or if you're in a situation like myself, I'm finally making really good money. I'm not going to immediately funnel that to a freaking kid. No, absolutely not. And yet the cost of living is still insane. Inflation's still insane. Housing still insane. And it's like they just think that they can continue to escalate on every front and everyone's still going to comply.
You know what? And she's completely right again. Once you do start making that good money, you're not just going to want to funnel that into your kid. And I get it. Some people might want to upgrade their lifestyle, stop living van life, etc. But prices are sky high. Subscriptions are, everything in life is a fucking subscription nowadays. All of these companies, like I mentioned earlier, just laying people off left and right. It makes you think, it boggles the mind, when everybody is laid off, who's going to be buying these subscriptions? When everybody can't afford basic life, is life going to turn into a subscription? Because, that's basically what it's looking like. Anyways, let's check out some other videos.
I am extremely stressed out. And I don't come on here and cry and do all of that. But what the fuck? I work 5 to 6 days out of the week. And I only barely have enough money to pay my bills. Somebody's going to get on here and say, oh, well, be lucky you have a job, bro. Working a job, going to a job, getting up every morning, every night, whatever time you go, and having to give your all or do your best at this fucking job just for them not to compensate you enough money for you to live your life and pay your bills, it's actually really fucking setting me.
You know what? And that's a very valid point. Working a job nowadays is almost like the ultimate humiliation ritual. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying go out there and quit your job and become an entrepreneur. I'm not into all of that grind culture, hustle culture, entrepreneurial bullshit that's been, plaguing social media for a long time. But it is definitely humiliating that you put in all these hours you work yourself to the bone, and you still barely have enough money to pay for basic necessities. Just like in the earlier video, who's going to want to have kids? You know, and the older generation is just saying, back in my day this, back in my day that. You know what, if the boomers or if the older generation were in our shoes right now, they wouldn't survive a minute. My grandparents have a lot of real estate, they bought a lot of homes, etc. But my grandmother bought her first home in Southern California, by the way, keep that in mind, for $10,000. The average price of a home in Southern California right now is $400,000 and up. Can you imagine buying your first home for $10,000? You really can't compare. And a lot of people say that this is just like 2008. I beg to differ. This is not 2008. This is something completely different. It's not, oh, AI is going to create new jobs and this and this and that. No. AI is taking over industries. They're not replacing jobs or creating jobs. They're replacing you and your job. They're replacing all of us with AI and making us pay for it by subscriptions. That's what's going on.
I feel like I'm missing out on living life because I have to pay my bills and go to work every fucking day. Such a tiring process. Now, I could see if I was lazy, I wasn't getting up and I wasn't getting it, but it's like, bruh, how fucking hard do I have to work in order to fucking survive, bro? How? Once I pay my rent and my phone bill and my light bill, that's it. And then the next paycheck, because mind you, bi-weekly, you only get paid 2 times out of the month. So one paycheck goes directly towards bills. And then that other paycheck, I have to set bills. I have to set money aside for the next set of bills that are coming up. I can't get ahead. I can't. I know somebody's going to say, you've got it better than somebody else. Bro, that's not the fucking point. Just because I have it better than somebody else doesn't mean that I'm not fucking struggling over here. For real, for real. People try to come on here and try to perpetrate and make it seem like, oh yeah, I'm living this kind of life, I'm living that kind of life. Bitch, I'm a TikTok content creator, but I live a life just like y'all. And nobody better get on here and say you better get another job or do this or do that. Bitch, you think I haven't applied to these jobs? And when I apply to these jobs, they waste my fucking time. Do you think I have money and gas and energy to be wasting going back and forth to these job interviews who are not going to hire me and are going to tell me that they're going to call me in a week or going to call me back in a couple days and don't?
Definitely. And we should all be thankful for what we have, but we have to understand that just because you or just because someone else thinks that we have it better, quote unquote, than someone else, it doesn't mean that we're not all struggling out here. We all have our own crosses to hold or bear, whatever it is that the saying is. But we're all struggling out here. Once you pay your rent, you pay your bills, you probably don't even have enough money for food. That's why a lot of people are paying for groceries on Klarna. And I know there's going to be some smart ass in the comments that says, oh, you paid your bills, welcome to being an adult, or whatever the fuck it is that these smart asses want to say. That's not the point. Just like she said, we should all be working normal hours with normal wages with enough money to set aside not only for us but for our kids to have families and create something. But we just can't do that in the United States. We can't do that in the current economy. I don't care who you guys want to put the blame on as far as the administration goes. It's both of their faults because none of them are tackling the ultimate problem, which is the cost of living crisis and unemployment in the United States. And also the cost of housing, right? The housing crisis as well. But I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments. Like, share, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I want to hear what you guys think in the comments below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.